the part, because it's like I can read it and I'm fine with it, but it's just not my favorite series of all time. If that makes any actual sense, because I do love JoJo's like tremendously, but just something about part eight. It's weird. I like the stands, but it, best way to describe it, it's like stuff happens, but nothing really happens all at the same time. I know that makes almost no sense, but let me try to explain it to you. So whenever the part of JoJo, you go into it and then you find out what is the end game, or at least it's hinted at this is what we're trying to do at the end of the day. But with Jojolion, it's kind of ambiguous because I have a couple of thoughts, but there's no like clear answer to what it is or isn't. So the way Jojolion looks to me, the end game is saving Holly, plain and simple. But there's also the Rokakaka fruit, which it can end up two ways. The main antagonist may just be the rock humans trying to get the new Rokakaka so they can keep doing what they do. That's what I'm imagining, but I don't really know because it's weird. Because I do like the stands, I do like the fights, but it doesn't feel like anything really is gonna happen at the end of the day. It's that kind of feeling where it's like you ever just read something you feel like you want to care but you just don't because nothing's really gonna change at the end. But I watched the videos on it and it got me thinking it's not too bad. It's actually a pretty good part. I just want more stuff to happen. I want to feel like, oh, I'm on the edge of my toes. With the current arc, I kind of feel that, but not all the way, because it's still more like, yeah, stuff is happening. Yes, we do have candidates for villains, but it's been going on since 2011, and now it's 2019. We don't know who final villain is, what their goals are, what motivates them. All we know is they exist. And I think this was bothering me about the part. You would expect that, you know, stuff's just gonna be happening, or like every other part of JoJo, you could feel like you see this hints of the final villain, what their end game will be, and you know they're lackeys. In JoJo, this feels like so far we've been in the dark, and there are a lot of hints of who the final villain is, but there's just too many options to choose from. It could be the Rock Humans, it could be Kato. We just don't really know. It could be Jobin, but no one really seems like. I don't want to think it's Jobin because it doesn't feel right to me personally. I'd rather be Kato because one, she was in jail. We don't know how does she feel about her family so far, and she's only close to one of her kids, Jobin. So I want to see that. No, I just want like, I don't know. Usually already the story, I'm trying to like go in knowing like there is some end game, and you could have all these ideas of what you want to see, what you don't want to see. But when it comes to Jojolion, it's just like I don't even like the main JoJo, which is kind of weird because for every other part, I like him. I love Josuke. Giorno's okay. He's my favorite JoJo, but he's pretty cool. I like his stand. I do like soft and wet. I just don't like the design of Josuke, aka Gappy. He just looks like a Flapjack character to me. I mean, I'm cool with him now. I like his personality. I just don't like his design. Like, every time I see his design, I'm just like, why, bruh? I just can't take you seriously. If it was like Kira alone, I would love that. But as it currently stands, it's the one part of JoJo I don't really like it, but because it's JoJo, I keep reading it because I know it's gonna get better. And once again, I think Araki has a plan for everything at the end of the day, and maybe my ideal situation can be the situation, because what I want to see happen, and I hope the end game is, we're not only gonna have to save Holly, we're gonna have to figure out the secrets of Mario, because part 8 is pretty much parallel universe of part 4. So I'm just wondering, how will this work? What are they gonna do, bruh? If it's just saving Holly as the end game, I guess that's cool, but I feel like they can do so much more. Like, why the rock humans care about rock fruits? Like, I get that it's a miraculous fruit, but they already live a long time. They don't need it. They don't actually need it. So I understand it's a business, but they have it. And then like the recent arc, we found out there's tons of it. So if that's their end goal and they have a lot of it, Why do they need more? Why do they care about the new one? Why are they doing all the stuff they do? That's why I feel like JoJolion is one of those weird parts where it's like, I can see an end game, but it's like it's too ambiguous at a point, because if you look at part 4, eventually realize that, there's something dark going on in Mario. So that's why, when we saw the silhouette of Kira, it was like, it's kind of weird. What's going to happen? And we had that little feeling, right? If you look at part 3, we knew eventually that, hey, Dio is back. We got to take care of him. Boom. And that was like part of the end game. Figure out where Dio is and defeating him. Look at part 2, the Pillar Men. Boom. Look at part 1, deal with Dio the Vampire. That is what I'm talking about. In every other part of JoJo, you knew, or you had some hints early on, what the end game was going to look like. Who the final villain is, what they're really going to do, what motivates them. Even in part 6, Poochie pulled up, and we felt like, Poochie gonna plot some things, and you could feel it. You didn't have to guess or say, who is this guy? What is he about? You felt it, and you saw it, and over time, it all came together. That's what I'm talking about. How come it comes to JoJolion? It's supposedly a mystery. It's like part 4, but it's not like part 4. Because, yes, stuff do be happening in it, but if you really think about it, nothing really has happened so far. There's like a couple main events, such as we know why the fusion happened. We know who Josuke supposedly is. We do realize that I can't say it right. Higashikata family is in danger. We know this. And they all have stands. We know this. We know there's a curse. Yes. But what is the end game? Is it curing the curse? Is that Job's motivation, curing the curse for his son, take up the family business? Or is it something else, such as, hey, the end game is for the rock humans to dominate humans and monopolize the fruit of Rokakaka. If that is endgame, sign me up. But so far, it's still like I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. Yeah, I'm excited, but it's one of those things where it's like I want to be excited, but I can't. And it makes me feel bad, because it's like the one time I'm like watching JoJo, I'm just like, how do I actually feel about it? Am I excited? I just read it, and obviously I am really excited what happened, like the latest chapters. Besides that, I'm just like, what is JoJolion? It's crazy. But after watching some of these videos I'm really starting to see JoJolion may have the best, most creative stands to this day. Only thing I'm really worried about, like I said, we're on like chapter. Hold on. Let me check for y'all. I know it's like we're on chapter like 76 or whatever, and I don't think it's gonna go past 100 chapters. So let me see. It is. I've been trying to keep track of everything. Oops, pressed the wrong thing. It is. Hold on, where is it? Aha, we're on chapter 83. So it's kind of deep, bruh. It's kind of deep. So hopefully, by next chapter, we see, alright, this final villain, this is what they about, and then we can go from there. But if we're not going to do that, I'm going to feel like very, very confused, because this, it's kind of like why I've been taking my time with JoJolion, because I remember when I got caught up on part 7, I was like, I finished part 7. I've been hearing about JoJolion. What's it about? And I saw a gap, and I was just like, oh man, I don't think we'll like this. And so far, it's like the one time that I've been like, I'm a JoJo, and I'm not like hype. I just reread it. I haven't reread it at all. The most I've done is just like, I don't even know, bro. It's hard to explain. Usually, what I do, like when it came to part 6, I've reread fights. I've looked more into it. With JoJolion, I just don't feel motivated to, because, like I said, the stands are cool. I like how the stands are evolved, and like every stand low-key reflects a person, their interest, like big time. But what I don't like is the villains are kind of lackluster. We had a couple of them, but for the most part, I only liked like two. Yeah, two. Two, like Vitamin C was a really good one, and I also like those twin brothers. But besides that, I was not really like, yo, I need this in my life. I'm about to enjoy the Jojolion, bro. The Jojolion started May 2011, and let's see. So we had, how many arcs we have? I know it's like a couple of them. I mean, what happened with like the recent chapters makes me kind of nervous because it's like it's getting spicy, but I still don't know. So yeah, let's see. And we're probably gonna lose my least favorite. Can't get words out. We're gonna lose my favorite stand, so I'm kind of upset, bro. But he might live. He might low key live. Poor Tom. I don't know how I feel about that fight. It didn't really feel like a fight. I feel like someone just got finessed. Honestly. Yes, let's see. I want to say we had at least... Because on our current arc, it is... Okay, we're on the 18th story arc. And... Oh my gosh, bro. I really wish I could find the words right now, but they're not coming to me. Yeah, so in the current arc, it's actually kind of crazy. So let's see. I think my favorite arc we had so far from Jojolion, it comes down to two of them. The California King Bed arc and Vitamin C and Killer Queen. I would say maybe Milagro Man, but I don't know. So what I liked about Jojolion so far, all the characters seem like they're more than meets the eye. They're really like, they're not bad people, but they're not good people either. They're kind of like in between. And that's what I like about Jojolion as a part. It's not like just, okay, we have JoJo's here, and it's a focus just on the JoJo's. It's about like the whole family. And with Joshu, I really don't like his design. He looks disgusting. But I feel bad for him because now I think about it, he's not really like a bad person. It's just, he's been going through it, bro. He really has been going through it. Because he had literally like the worst situation that ever happened to him. The girl he likes don't even like him back, and the guy that he didn't even have a proper introduction to, that he can't stand, he now related to him. And now everyone's saying, hey, you gotta be nice to this dude you just met you don't like, and if you don't, you're gonna have some problems. And now it's like his whole family's like, oh, we don't gotta deal with you no more, we got somebody else to deal with. So he's really going through it. And in his own arc, Milagro arc, we saw that he's not really a bad person. It's just, he's in this weird spot where everyone assumes he's the bad guy, but he's not really a bad person. He just does stupid stuff. And that's what I like about Jojolion as a whole. All the characters feel realistic. They're not perfect in the sense that, oh, they're all fighting for the sense of justice. No, they're all just trying to do their thing. And with Joshu, he's just like a regular kid. He's trying to figure out what makes him special. Because the thing about Joshu, he feels like he's a nobody. He knows he has no talent, but he still wants to feel like, yo, I have something. Everyone has something that gets him through their day. He's trying to find that thing. And now I think about it, I would probably react the same way he did. If the girl you like likes the guy you can't stand, and the guy you can't stand, your sister likes him as well, how are you supposed to react to that? How are you supposed to feel? And your whole family's telling you, get along with this guy you don't like. That would be like the most awkward moment of your entire life. So when I really think about what he's going through, I really like his arc because it shows you that, yo, Joshu's not really that bad of a person. It's just he needs some direction, needs some guidance. And the reason why I kind of understand how he feels, I feel like I want to say he's the middle child, but he's not. But let me double check. Hold up. Because if I was him, bro, I'd be feeling some type of way. Like high key. So let's see, Joshu. Oh, he's a third. He's not really the middle child, but he's been spoiled a lot. And I love his stand, bro. Nut King calls. It's amazing. Let's see. Yeah, he had to give his room to the guy he could not stand, Josuke. And then his dad's like, hey, deal with it. And gave him some money. And then his dad's like, hey, you also gotta get a job, bruh. But yo, I gotta review that Malaga arc. It might be hitting low key. But I'm kind of surprised that he didn't like snitch on Josuke, because he had like a perfect opportunity to snitch on Josuke, but he didn't do it. But yeah, the Equivalent Exchange, I think this is like the climax of the arc. Because when I really think about it, it's all coming together. So pretty much, we're reaching what I want from Jojolion. It's kind of like Endgame, but not really. So like I said, the Endgame currently for the main JoJo, he wants to save Holly because Holly's something wrong with her, and no matter what they do, doctors can't really help her. So Holly has this thing where it's like, I want to say she's like mentally ill right now, but she's not in the right mindset. So what's going on with Holly pretty much is she's eating her own fingers and she doesn't know it. And she's not really acting regular, if that makes any sense. And pretty much what Josuke wants to do, since he's fused with Kira, he wants to save Holly from what she's going through. And I think the Baraka fruit, yeah, the Raka fruit is the answer. Not the old one, the new one that they're supposed to cultivate. Because with the old one, it's kind of dangerous because what usually happens with the fruit, if you eat it, it can cure something, but it's going to take something away. And then we learn in like the recent arc how this exactly works. So let's say, for example, I lose my eyesight, right? If I eat Raka fruit, I can pretty much gain eyesight back, but I may lose my hearing. I may lose my teeth, and it happens kind of randomly. Like there's no set order to how you lose something, why you lose something. It would just kind of happen. That makes sense? So with the new one, it could be filled with less drawbacks. It could be an improved version of the fruit, but the problem is Josuke and company don't know where it is. And Jobin has it, and it should be grown in like a week or less. So if Jobin successfully cultivates his fruit, that's the end of everything. He'll technically win, and that will make him the antagonist. But I don't see him as the antagonist because his goal is too simple. All Jobin wants to do is prove that if you're rich, you should be on top. That's how it just works. And that just sounds like an entitled thing to say. I mean, that could be a reason why he's the main antagonist, because he's standing in Josuke's way, because Josuke wants to have the new Rokakaka fruit so he can save Holly, because that's the last thing that Kira wanted to do before they fused. And also, she saved his other half, Josuke. So, just feel me, my bad. So it would all come together, right? Right. Yeah. But only thing I'm worried about, if that's the case, it wouldn't be like, it's not gonna be like directly Jobin stopping Josuke, because I don't think he personally cares the guy either way. It just seems like there's two ways it's gonna work out. It'll be by coincidence Jobin becomes main antagonist, or it could be the Rock Humans, because the Rock Humans are directly trying every way possible to make sure Josuke and the whole Higashikata family doesn't prosper in growing the Rock Art fruit, because they can't maintain their monopoly. But the thing is, they work with Jobin. So that's what I'm saying. What's going on? So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this part of this part of JoJo is weird, because it's like there's so many ways it can go down, but it's not really clear. And the way I define an antagonist, you just stand in the way of the protagonist. And if you just happen to do that coincidentally, are you really an antagonist? Because think about it. Kira's an antagonist from part 4 because why? He was low-key trying to like not get detected, and everything he did was to make sure he stayed in plain sight. And because he realized Josuke and company was yeah, was on his tail. That's why he stood in their way, because they wanted to kill. They wanted to get rid of him, basically defeat him, to help everyone anyone. Can't get words out today. But you know what I mean. With any of the JoJo part, you can see why they're antagonists. They're really trying to make sure that the main JoJos don't get to do what they want, because if they succeed, whatever the villain wants to do, it's not going to work anymore. So if it's, like for example, the Pillar Men, they wanted to rule the world pretty much, and they didn't want anyone to stand in their way. That's why they did Joseph the way they did. Makes sense. Now, if it's just going to be, hey, it's your boy Joe up in here, let me tell you why I'm doing all this. I'm solely doing this because I think I should be the one in charge of the family. I'm supposed to be the heir. But that doesn't work, because as long as the father, Ryusuke, is still alive, how can Jobin inherit anything? How can he rule anything? He can't. Which means it would only make more sense for him to be the antagonist if he orchestrated all this to happen to his father to lose, fall from grace, and then he rises to the top. And because he's now the new head of the household, he can set the rules. He can determine what is and what isn't allowed. If that's how everything ends, yes, Jobin would be the perfect antagonist for part 8. But I don't think that's the way it's going to go down. The way I kind of see it happening, Jobin's a puppet. I think Kato could be the antagonist, because pretty much she is the mother of the Hiragashikata family. And from what we've seen so far, she went to jail for what she did when Jobin was a kid, and she made Jobin the current person he is. So she caused everything. She is the catalyst. So for that reason, I believe she should be the main antagonist. Because for some reason, she doesn't really like Josuke. Joshua doesn't like her either, despite her being his mother. So I'm just like, yeah, something going on, and it doesn't sound right. Like, how are you not like your own mother? What did she do? And that's what I'm wondering. What's going on? And it kind of all adds up, because, you know, that is crazy. So the main character, Josuke, he wants to save Holly's life to thank her for saving his life. And he always mentioned how he's always been abandoned and no one ever saved him. And then Kira saved him, so it makes more sense that when they fused, that is why Josephumi is who he is. And I love his stand, bro. It looks sensational. And I also love Killer Queen. They're a good combo. So, backstory. You know Holly. In this part 8, she pretty much is suffering a mental disorder. She can't tell the difference between people and objects. And there's like teeth marks on her like brain. So we don't really know what happened to her. So we just need to see her get saved, because the doctors were currently saying she can't even tell people anymore, and they don't have any way of saving her as it currently stands. So that's why I need the new rocket fruit to grow, because if it grows, it will change everything. So if they get the new fruit, they can save Holly, and that means Josuke will be complete as a character, because all he wants to do in this part is figure out who he is and be the best person he can. And if he does that, it works out, because both parts wanted to save Holly in the first place. But the only problem I'm worried about is, okay, what's going to be the obstacle to this? Because we don't know who the antagonist is. Will it be the rock humans, and they're doing this because they're saying you're going to ruin our monopoly of rocket fruit, and how dare you get away with our business? Is that going to be how it all ends? Or is it going to be more like, yo, the reason why we're going so ham on you is simply because you... It's really weird, because like I said, I can see this arc, I can see this part of JoJo ending 3 ways. But I'm kind of scared for how it all ends, because I just find like there's 2 endings, like I'm saying, but I don't know which one's like the most appropriate one. Because if it just ends with like Jobin just became antagonist simply because his mother told him that, hey, Josuke is gonna stand in our way and he's gonna ruin everything, the family business, and I need you to be in charge. If that's like the whole reason why he becomes antagonist, I would hate that. But I can see it happening, because the way Jobin is, he's just a weirdo. Where it's like he's not a bad person, but he has like that kind of mindset where it's like he thinks as long as you do what you want and you have power, you can't do anything wrong. And I don't like that mindset, which it kind of makes sense because if you're a rich individual and you can literally do whatever you want, why not do it? But here's the problem with all of that. Let's say you are rich. It doesn't mean you're not. Hold up. Hold on, I'm gonna sneeze for a second. Yeah, just because you're rich doesn't mean you can do whatever you want, and consequences don't exist. That's why I find it funny that Jobin thinks this way. But when you think about, Jobin's whole personality and all that, it all pretty much adds up. He feels like the world owes him for his childhood, so he does all this outrageous stuff, which I kind of get, but I'm kind of like, it's kind of petty, bro, because he kind of reminds me of like Dio in a way, where it's like the world did him dirty, so he wants to do the world dirty. But here's the difference: Jobin barely suffered, and when I did see his backstory, I didn't feel like, oh man, Jobin, you've been through a struggle, bro. He didn't go through too much. He been through a little bit, but that's really it. So that's why I feel like he low-key was reaching. But hold up, give me a second. So yeah, Holly could be endgame, saving her, and that would be like a pretty noble way to end everything. Oh my, yo! But if that's the case, that means part 8 is more like a combination of part 3 and part 4. The whole point of everything that happened in part 3 was just to defeat Dio. It was to defeat Dio so they could save Holly. Yo! And Dio was staying in the way because as long as Dio was there, they was not defeating him. And that means they couldn't save Holly. That is crazy, bro. That actually would be a good way for it to end then. I will take that. I will take that. But if that's going to be how it ends, I just really hope that Araki can wow us and doesn't forget things. Because we have a lot of cool characters in Jojolion, but I feel like he's going to forget about half of them. And then we're still going to wonder about a lot of good mysteries. Because right now, there's something that they introduced in the very early of the part, but they never really explained, which is the wall eyes. What does it do? Why is it a thing? We don't know. It's there. And no one really explained its significance. I feel like it's gonna be like, all right, it matters, but then it didn't matter. And I'm like, is it just there for aesthetic? Is it like something important? Is it like a plot point? We don't know, bruh. We don't know. It was in the first chapter. We saw it for a bit. We haven't seen it recently. So I just need some clarity. Why is it a thing? Why? Is it supposed to be important, or it's just there to be there? That is why I want him to remember, give us some clarity to it. You'll just have something there that's super cool and it's just like, oh, it's just there to be there. It don't matter, bro. It's just background information. That's what I'm worried about. But I trust Naraki. Also, we have a lot of cool characters. Like, I was watching a video on let me see, let me go back to my feed, because there's a one a character, and I was just like, yo, she really is cool, and I hope she's not going to be forgotten. If she is, I'm going to be really, really upset. Let me see if I can remember her name. It is... I like her stand too. Oh yeah, the stand Born This Way, and it's pretty much, let me see, because I don't want to say the name wrong. I know her name is going to be sure. Yeah, Kyo Nijimura. She's pretty much, she's like Jotaro's design, but her personality really does remind me a little bit of what's that guy's name? Damn, I'm slipping today, bro. I can't remember anything. Okuyasu. She reminds me of him, personality wise. It's yeah. Yeah, we haven't seen her since chapter 16. So I need to see her again, bro. Please. Please. She's an amazing character. And I love her stand Boy's Way because pretty much it fits her personality perfectly. So her stand works like this. It's an automatic stand. And when she targets you, but she has to touch you first. It's like a humanoid stand that's like a motorcycle that can make extreme winds and can freeze things. And it makes sense because it just open up to anybody. So that's why when you open up things, the stand attacks you and just chases you down the street. It's pretty cool. And so far, it's like you can tell she's not really like fond of Higashikatsu's, because she wants to save Holly as well. So that's why I feel like it's going to be really interesting how it all plays out. And she's the one that even told Josuke that, hey, you're a fusion. So I really want to see her do well, but I just don't know how it's all going to play out at the end of the day. But I am really excited for how the final arcs will shape up for part 8. So what I'm trying to do with this whole stream, I was trying to just think about, why is part 8 like that one part where it's like, while I'm reading it, I'm not really excited. But when I think about all the possibilities, then I get excited. It's way different because when it came to part 4, came to part 6, the entire time I was like, yo, it's going off. I was excited. It's technically the first part of JoJo where it's the first part of JoJo where I was reading it as the part was going on, compared to how with every other part I was binging it. Read most of the anime, watched most of the anime, and then I was like, alright, time to catch up on part 5. Read all of the manga. I was like, okay, part 5. It's interesting. Not my favorite part. Part 4, I stand that, and part 6 the most. Part 7, I really did enjoy it, but got to the end, I was just like, it's whatever. It's cool, but I'm not really crazy about it. So that happened. And I came to part 8. I remember the first day I caught up, I was like, yo, it's kind of crazy. But then I was just like, oh, now I gotta wait for chapters. But I'm not really like crazy about the chapters. It was a weird feeling for me because it was pretty much like, I'm trying to think of a good example. I'm trying to think of it, because JoJo's like a weird thing, because like there's part to it. Oh, it's kind of like reading like your favorite series, or watching your favorite series, and let's say it has like 8 seasons, and you started it while season 8 was going on, right? So you just rush through it all. Not really rush, but you binge through it all. And then you notice that, yeah, by the time you got to season 8, you're interested, but it's not the same compared to everything else. Yes, everything else was a completed season. You're just like, yeah, it was a great binge, but it's weird not you caught up. And it's like, season 8 is nothing like the other parts. Yes, it is similar in a lot of ways, but it's also really different. So you're in this weird phase where it's like, you don't really hate it, but you don't know how much you like it. It's like a weird balance where it's like, you like a lot of things about it, but also a lot of stuff about it makes you feel like you can't really enjoy it the same way. What I like about JoJo is just how, when you think about the stands, they can reveal a lot about the person, their personality. And when you think about the stand abilities, it's like a metaphor for the person. And that's what I like about it. Like, look at Kira's stand. He didn't like standing out, and his stand allowed him to hide and kill in plain sight. It's amazing. But in part 8, Kira's stand is the opposite of what we know from part 4. The explosions are loud, and he has more control over Killer Queen. And his main ability seems like it's sheer heart attack, but that's how he controls the size and how many he wants to use. It's pretty cool. And this character doesn't care about hiding in the shadows. He's still like the Kira we know, but he's different. He's not really crazy about women's hands. He's more interested in his own hands. And he's more polite. He's just different. Even looking at the stand from Kyo. She doesn't open up to anybody, and her stand attacks you when you open things. So she has a guard up, which it fits perfectly. And it can freeze things because she's kind of cold, elusive. She's not really close to anybody, really. That's why I find it interesting. And since it's an automatic stand, it makes sense because she's distant. Not like she's like connected to anybody. So if you damage the stand, it's not going to do nothing to her, which kind of reflects how the way she is, where it's like she doesn't have any like strong connections to anybody. That's what I'm talking about. Or if you think about, I'm trying to think of another good example. Oh yeah, Josefumi's stand, which is the original Soft and Wet. That is a really good one because, let me see. Where is it? I don't like. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Let's see. The OG soft and wet. Yeah, the original soft and wet, it absorbed things. So you can use like separate things. Or you can use to graph things. So it's pretty cool. So that's the original soft and wet. And it's stole, and I think why I like it so much, the idea of it at least. Let's see. I'm trying to think like how I want to explain it. Yeah, with the original, if you think about it, since Joseph Fumi always felt like, let me see, because I didn't know much about him. Let's see if I can find the right words for this. Yeah, I don't know much about him. But I think maybe the fact that he had the stand soft and when it could absorb aspects of things, maybe it was trying to say Joseph Fumi always wanted to feel a part of things, but he always felt separate. So maybe that's why he has a stand soft and wet. So it's like saying his emotions are separate from his ability to like think. So it's like his emotions are on, let's say for example, it's like his emotions and his like logic, they never really work together. They always feel like separate entities. So that's why he has the ability to absorb things. Maybe he's trying to say that in a way, all he wants to do is feel like he belongs to something. But because of the way he is, all he has is stealing. All he has is theft. He doesn't really have anything of his own. Maybe that's the interpretation you can take away from it, but maybe I'm wrong. Because that's what I like about stands. If you really think about it, it does affect the user and like their personality. Because he used it to graph as well, like, but you know, like, it's like pretty much mix like fruits together, whatever. I'm gonna feel like another good stand that will kind of make sense. Oh, like, damn. Sorry, I was just like, two of those days, like the words are just not coming to me like the way they usually do. Should I think like, oh yeah, even California bed, California King bed. That's by Daya. She uses people's experiences to like, she basically her stand allows her to experience people's memories because she wants to feel connected to people. But the thing is, she has really bad eyesight. And if she plays this game by using her stand, she can take away your memories or even return them. So by using this, it's like she can pretty much, yeah. So pretty much you can use it so it's like people always, yeah, it's like pretty much plays a game. So as long as you're concerned about Daya, she can steal your memories. So it's like saying, since she doesn't really have much, she has to take people's experiences to make them part of her own. Because she can barely see. She's pretty much blind almost. So because the ability, she can pretty much easily take something from her family, like or memories of like the house or what they did, right? And then put that memory back. They won't even know. Effectively making her close to people because she knows about them. But maybe that's just me. So to wrap everything up, all I'm trying to say is, if you're trying to like get caught up on JoJo and all that, and you're like, yo, I want to know about part 8, you're not missing much, bro. I would say wait for it to end or it gets close to the end. Cause it's not a bad part, but it's just like it's really weird. It's like a lot to think about, a lot of things to consider, and I can't say that I hate it. I can't say I really like it. It may be in my top 4 in terms of JoJo parts, but I just really hope when it's all said and done, we get a really good conclusion so we can say, yeah, bruh, this was hitting, this was with King, but who knows how it's all gonna end at the end of the day. So now, if you listen to what I had to say, I want to know from y'all if you read part 8 or you're caught up in part 8. How do you feel about it? What do you think is the end game? Do you think the end game is just saving Holly, so it's like a contrast to part 3, but it's also the mysteries of part 4? Spring 11, they're like, what are the Rock Humans' end game? How they came about, yada yada? Or do you think it's something else? Or do you think we're gonna get like misdirected? So we're thinking Joe Ben's final villain, but the whole time he's not, it's somebody else. What do y'all think and why? Let me know in the comments below. If you're watching this live, shout out to you. If you're watching this on becomes of VOD, also shout out to you if you're new here. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Do you want to support your boy? Got a Patreon. It really helps. Could really say so much more, but my crew needs me.